Damn, this is really quite fucked up. This situation is... what in the actual hell? This river...
September 4th, Moscow is going underwater. It's happening. BU, open box, and then BAM!
Well, everyone's at home, and the street is Nagornaya. The courtyard of this business center has turned into a river. We're trying to cross it by wading.
Wading means something like this, as we often say.
I'm heading to the parking lot. Here, the parking lot is blocked off. Here, I got out my SUP board. Decided to paddle out. The water's deep enough. Everything's fine.
On Rublyovka, there are lakes in the center and waterfalls. Cars are sinking, ambulances are stuck, and people are getting to work in sneakers squelching up to their knees.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's a nightmare, and it's not stopping. Look, there.
People are trapped on the porch. They're probably waiting to be rescued. Not to mention these cars. Only a complete overhaul can save them now. And that's in the best case scenario. They're submerged up to the roof. Obviously the engines and all the electronics too. Everything needs to be replaced.
In just one day, a third of the monthly rainfall norm fell and shopping centers are packed. Bridges have been washed away. Car washes are now working without human involvement. Just leave it there and it'll sink on its own. Muscovites are scraping themselves off the ground and Moscow's shopping centers have been flooded. Water is already pouring down like waterfalls onto the ground. Moscow has gone underwater. This hasn't happened in a very long time. Like, comment, subscribe. And we're getting started. Moscow women are stuck in their car. They can't open the door and the interior is sinking to the bottom. People are climbing over fences to cross the streets.
Let's go talk to people.
Everything started to float. Trash and everything else. Right now, actually, it feels like the water has already gone somewhere. Before, it was so bad that our car was completely covered up to the roof.
It really is better not to park your car in the courtyards on Nagornaya Street. Right now, it's one of the most flooded places in Moscow. Just look at that current. The thing is, the Kotlovka River is located nearby. And now it has overflowed its banks. The water keeps coming in. They're on Parkovka Street. Cars there have gone underwater up to the roof. There might be even deeper spots. So it's better not to go there without some kind of flotation device. That might actually save someone's life.
This is the most striking scene of Moscow life.
And
now it's going to float away. Just like the Russian State Duma.
Well, no. Water is welcome too, of course.
This is shock content. The center of Moscow is flooded. The State Duma has gone underwater. The deputies are in a panic, friends. They're already being flooded from above. Drowned. They're saving themselves however they can. It's September 4th. People are fleeing the flood. The waters are splashing against the windows. The system can't cope. This isn't just a flood in Moscow. This is a disgrace for the regime. The metro is completely flooded now. The numerous cars are now visibly floating on the water's surface, and regrettably, the local law enforcement officers, the police, have completely and utterly sunk beneath the murky depths.
Now that's a truly magnificent and incredibly vast river indeed. That's an ocean, that's a river. Look guys, the cops, people are swimming.
Lightning and thunder, a storm hit right on the seat of power. The State Duma was flooded. Because of the lightning strikes, the city lost electricity. Darkness fell. A substation was damaged. Moscow went underwater. Nothing like this has happened in a very long time. The city center is flooded, cars are underwater, Muscovites are screaming, shouting, running away from the torrents.
Now that's truly a magnificent river! That's an ocean, that's a river! Look guys, people are swimming in Patriarch's ponds.
The taxi got flooded. I stopped the bus. I wish I could somehow get through, damn it. Did we make it through?
Let's run.
Udar has had enough. He's not going anywhere else.
No, I mean right in our room. And I liked it the most. She listened to me, and more than anyone else, right to the owners.
The ferocious storm is violently tearing off roofs across the city, while blinding flashes of lightning are striking perilously close to the iconic Ostankino Tower. Simultaneously, the entire metro system has completely lost all power, plunging countless commuters into darkness, and massive, surging waves of water are relentlessly breaking into the Moscow subway, causing widespread chaos and significant disruption. Oh. Trains are running, the airport is cut off. Muscovites spend days in their cars trying to get to the airport, but alas, drivers tell them everything is flooded and they have to go on foot. There's water in the building entrances, boats on the streets, even the State Duma is flooded. Sobchak's channel is showing footage of the flooded smoking rooms in the State Duma.
Well, no, the water is certainly greeting us with a flourish.
Moscow isn't the capital, it's a second Venice. Panic, evacuations, a state of emergency. The capital of Russia is in total collapse. Everything hit Moscow at once. Floods, hurricanes, lightning, transport shutdowns, and even threats of missile strikes from Trump himself. Muscovites can't get to the airport, their shuttles are at a standstill, and they're being told to walk through the water, basically to drown. The city center is literally underwater. People are panicking. Some are already literally getting around by boat. Some people are crying, some are filming videos, some simply can't even leave their homes. They're calling this place an aquarium because outside the window, behind the glass, there's water everywhere. All of this is happening against the backdrop of the usual mantra: the situation is under control. Sheremetyevo Airport is inaccessible. Trains aren't running, and even inside the State Duma building, there's water. It seems like the whole system is sinking along with the capital. In downtown Moscow and the suburbs, cars are sinking right on the avenues. People are standing waist deep in puddles trying to pull their vehicles out by hand. In residential buildings, there's water in the entryways, and the stopped metro trains are without power. The authorities say everything is under control, but people are getting to work by boat. It's impossible to get to the airport. The Air Express is at a standstill, and the train has stopped in the middle of the route. Streets in the city center are flooded. Evacuations have been announced in several districts. Hail is pounding on rooftops. Lightning is striking near the TV tower. People are posting videos. There are screams, shrieks, and panic. The smoking room in the State Duma has gone underwater, and the irony is that the whole system is getting flooded. And all this is happening in Moscow, a city where everything supposedly goes according to plan. Only this plan, it seems, is written in water. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a cheerful comment, and write a few kind words in support of Ukraine. We work for an audience all over the world so that people know the truth about Russian aggression and Russia's war against Ukraine. Every comment and every subscription is very valuable, friends. Stay with us, stay on the light side. And now, as usual, let's take a look at the territory of absolute lies. How Russian war correspondents, the Rashists, got scared of missile strikes and attacks on Moscow and St. Petersburg. Now it's time for the segment, Analysis of Premium Grade Rashist Propaganda. Let's go. And
Trump today, just like through GU, I say Putin is not quite up to par. I say Putin is not quite up to par, so what? And he says, well, I'm not up to bricks either, I say, and none of them are up to it, so why aren't they lining up? If you're all so smart, I just told you the train is standing here 1, 2, you should stay. You should stay for this. But why? And Trump came, what, is he a king or something? And will you be the queen of the world or what? What suddenly happened? At the same time, look at how beautifully they walk there, how Trump struts around. Yeah, there are sanctions. I'm considering them, not considering them. The main thing is, they don't like it, and even started speaking somewhat rudely. Before our eyes, Trump is undergoing Bidenization. Trump, who was the only one able to talk to Putin, is turning into just another version of Biden. And does he really think, in all seriousness, that now he can talk down to us and will just obey? Has he really understood nothing? He hasn't realized that we are guided by our own national interests. And if Trump doesn't like that, it just shows that he still hasn't understood anything about Russia, which means he's offering us terms that don't align at all with our own idea of what's good for us. And why should we do Trump any favors? Really, the very idea, why on earth should we try to please Trump? Why not just relocate all the people?
Then the enemy will win, then he will be victorious. And that's not our decision. People don't want that. But right now, Murom is suffering a lot, really suffering. But it's also hard for Murom to leave. And even now, when before we used to buy armored vehicles and send them to the main village, now we buy ATVs, then mopeds. And now we're buying scooters. Electric ones, why? The head of the village moves around on a scooter, it's silent, gives him maximum visibility and maneuverability during an attack.
You'll laugh, but what about horses?
They're big, inconvenient.
But at night, they know where to go on their own.
I agree with that.
That's not why we're there. We didn't go there to make things worse for ourselves. We said, you don't want to negotiate? We'll make you negotiate. There is no other option. We can only negotiate from a position of strength. Yes, it will be hard for us. We'll keep fighting. And unfortunately, we'll have to adapt our industry to a wartime model. But we have no other option. Look at Iran. Look at other countries you didn't even ask about. Look at Libya. Look at Iraq. How many years have they been struggling?
What do we really have today for the first week of July? Electricity prices rose by 13%, gas by 13.5%, heating by 13.8%, and hot water by 14.9%. The inflation jump for the first week of July was 0.79%. This has never happened before during this period, and in recent years, this is one of the sharpest spikes. If someone tries to tell us now, well, it spiked and now it's stabilizing, no, all these tariffs will be factored into the prices of food and the goods we buy every day.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll be 71 this year. I have my son-in-law, who is also my nephew, and he has many children, 3 from my daughter and then my other nephews. A son-in-law, you see, is my daughter's husband. He's nothing to me. Not for a second do I feel sorry. Not once. I honestly don't care at all.
Wait, but that's your daughter's husband. Isn't she unhappy because of that?
Unhappy? Quite the opposite. She married someone else while he was dying because she found another husband. So what? She got it. She got 17 million. She got it for herself and for the 2 kids. She got it. So what's sad about that? I feel sorry for my nephew, my own nephew. I feel sorry for him.
No one ever truly fought for their family because their family was truly everywhere. Their family was all around them, seemingly indestructible, with many, many children and so on and so forth endlessly. And today that's where our Russian foolishness comes from, where people say some will die there, but women will give birth to more, or we'll overwhelm them with our numbers, or something like that. We've reached a time when women no longer give birth to anyone. They've become weak, cowardly, immoral, and don't want to have children, and we can't overwhelm anyone with our numbers anymore. If it came down to overwhelming with numbers, India and China would overwhelm all of us. Even if you gave each of them just half a hat, they'd still outnumber us. That's for sure, but not us. We're disappearing. Our numbers are shrinking, so we need to preserve our people. There's even a practice called people preservation, meaning we need to protect our people from drug addiction, from dying drunk behind the wheel, from alcoholism, from senseless deaths like those that happen among young people, like train surfers and others who risk their lives and die for nothing. It would be better if they went to the front. At least there they'd die as soldiers with a weapon in their hands.
I just left Brest. Literally this very morning, I departed from Brest. I was at significant commemorative events honoring the solemn beginning of the Great Patriotic War, specifically at the historic Brest Fortress. And let me tell you this, I spoke with, well, I won't disclose with whom, how, or precisely why, but the Polish authorities are currently very seriously strengthening their border defenses, and it is absolutely, unequivocally clear why they are doing so. They truly made a complete and utter mess. That's the absolutely key word here. They undeniably made a significant mess, indeed a very big mess, and if they genuinely didn't, then they should most certainly get hit squarely on the head. They absolutely should. And they understand perfectly and completely well that sooner or later, inevitably, they will indeed get hit firmly on the head, no matter what kind of elaborate mines they meticulously put up all along the borders. And when the crucial time finally comes, I'm more than absolutely sure they will most definitely get hit hard on the head.
This is actually the first war we're fighting, not with the support of the local population. How is that even possible when there are troops stationed in the cities and there's always some informant who will send out the coordinates and then we'll end up burying heroes?
For us, air defense has truly become a normal and ever-present part of daily life. And when you carefully read books about the Great Patriotic War, so many profound books, inspiring songs, and evocative paintings were created. This devastating war penetrates so deeply into every single corner of your very soul, and some hidden, powerful reserves of inner strength emerge. We are currently facing a severe and challenging trial, especially for the resilient residents living near the border. One of the incredibly talented girls, a dedicated artist, started painting these remarkable pictures on actual fragments from over 400 shells.
This is
the casing, this is the cover, absolutely right, this is the cover. When the rockets are launched, they fall off, and it has become probably a symbol. On the one hand, it represents what protects us, and on the other hand, it is hope. Hope, yes, hope, confidence in a near victory. This feeling exists in the soul of each of us. So to be honest, I wanted to convey this feeling from the heart.
To pass it on, and also a very significant and substantial, big, perhaps even monumental contribution or element that needs to be considered and conveyed effectively to others.
Thank you. Bilgar does not give up. Thank you very much.
And Trump came, what, is he a king or something? And are you going to be the queen of the world or what? What suddenly happened? Look how beautifully they walk there, how Trump is showing off over there. Yes, there are sanctions. I'm considering it, I'm not considering it. The main thing is that they really don't like it. He even started speaking somewhat rudely. Before our eyes, Trump is being Bidenized. Trump, who was the only one able to talk to Putin, is turning into just another version of Biden. So does he really, in all seriousness, think that he can talk down to us now and we'll just obey? He still hasn't understood anything. He doesn't get that we are guided by our national interests. And if Trump doesn't like that, it just shows that he still hasn't understood anything about Russia, which means he's offering us terms that don't align with our views or with what's good for us. And why should we do Trump any favors? Really, what reason do we have to go out of our way to please Trump?
Sometimes you listen to Trump, but when you look at the actions, it's more like Biden. Why is that? Because everything is contradictory. On Monday, he says he won't give anything. On Tuesday, he gives missiles, weapons, and so on. And it feels like he has a bit of that Odessa spirit, you know? When journalists ask him a question, yes or no, he answers maybe. And what that maybe means is never really clear.
Just look at how many numerous cities we've successfully taken over during these past 3.5 incredibly long years. It's absolutely laughable. Damn, 3.5 years, 3.5 years indeed. And I maintain, this is my opinion, that there are over 1 million victims, killed, missing, and wounded, including those who died in hospitals.
If Russia so much as raises an eyebrow for a second, we're the third largest trading partner of Azerbaijan.
I want to, if I may, just briefly mention that.
Remind you of the amount of money that is transferred from Russia to Azerbaijan, not from Azerbaijan to Russia. Or, considering the 300 kilometers of border and seeing what some allow themselves to do and watching what is allowed to be said on central television, do you want to go to war? Some countries have already experienced significant problems because of this, naively thinking they could easily get away with it, only to bitterly and deeply regret it later on. That's why I believe that the activities of British and Turkish intelligence services on the territory of Azerbaijan aimed at destabilization will ultimately lead to only one thing: unimaginable losses and tragedy for the sensible people of Azerbaijan.
There are all sorts of considerations, all kinds of circumstances, internal factors, internal politics, but I'm not talking about our internal politics, I mean those of our neighbors. Well, it's sad, it's unfortunate, sad and unfortunate, and where will this lead? Nothing good, at the very least, to serious economic losses. Especially when Russia holds, as in the case of Azerbaijan, the third place in terms of trade turnover. And as you understand, we don't supply Azerbaijan with oil and gas, but rather, let's say, products with higher added value. That's it, that's the whole picture. I think, well, maybe I'm missing something. I really don't know the region's history well, so I went and looked. Where is this history of the great Azerbaijan that was supposedly interrupted by the military intervention of the Russian Empire? I couldn't find it. There was no Azerbaijan, and in fact I couldn't even find such an ethnicity as Azerbaijani. That is, the ethnicity that we now know as Azerbaijanis, with all due respect, was in fact also invented by the Soviet authorities.
With all due respect to Azerbaijan, its history and traditions, if Russia were to so much as raise an eyebrow for a moment, we are, after all, Azerbaijan's third largest trading partner.
Fourth, ninth.
And I'd like to remind you of the amount of money that is sent from Russia to Azerbaijan, not the other way around, from Azerbaijan to Russia. And then apparently the situation could change dramatically. Is that what they're counting on? Or considering the 300 kilometers of border and seeing what they allow themselves to do, and watching how on central television they're allowed to say such things, do you really want to go to war? I am sure that not a single sane person with a good memory living in Azerbaijan would ever go for such foolishness.
Friends, thank you for being with us. Please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and stay on the side of light, on the side of the YouTube channel, even if it's just for happiness. Thank you very much. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. We will definitely win.